Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Sheriff Gaming with you, showing you a brand new game called Slither.io, and I'll be giving you the tips and tricks to how to get to #1 on the leaderboard. So basically this game is very simple in the mechanics. You're just moving a little worm slash snake with your mouse, and your goal is to avoid running into the body of any other snakes with your head. If you do that, you disintegrate into 1,000 million little bits of energy, as you see as those little glowing balls on the screen, and other players can eat them and gain mass. So your ultimate goal is to gain as much mass as possible. Also, you can boost by pressing the spacebar on a keyboard or double clicking with your mouse. When you do this, you glow, but be careful, you lose mass every time that you boost. You can regather this mass if you need. Using this efficiently can ultimately make the difference between an average player and a really good player. So let's get into the tips and tricks. So the first thing that you want to be able to do is make J-lines, as I call them. J-lines are basically trapping an opponent and stopping them from turning. That's a classic example right there, where he's gone to turn and I've basically moved my way around him so that he ends up running into me. I tried to do that with the pink guy to my right, but it wasn't successful. Basically, running J-lines as the rainbow guy just did is a really successful way of getting other players to run into you. Using your boosts and knowing where you are on the map is also a really critical component of doing well. I like to go to the center. The center is generally where all the biggest players are working, and there's a bit of mayhem in there, and there's often a good bit of food to get. Circling players, another really good way of capturing them, and it centralizes all the loot. Watch here as I go around my opponent. Even though he ran into me, I still connected up so that he had absolutely nowhere to go, and wherever he turned, he was going to run into my body. You can keep encircling and encircling your opponent until they have nowhere to go and they run into your body. This is a really effective method when you're really big, because it centralizes all of an opponent's energy in one concentrated spot instead of you having to search out their entire body's worth of loot. Be careful what kind of loot you go for. Look here as I nearly have a clash with the green person to my left, as lots of players will often just rush at any mass that they can find, and that can often result in clashes and you ended up coming off on the wrong foot because you don't play smart. If you're taking big risks, look again how I almost got hit and the blue guy got hit because he wasn't watching where he was going, soaking up all of that mass. It's very important that you corner off mass. This is one of the other principles I work off, is I create a ring like I would a player, so I can basically reserve myself any loot that I want. It's not worth just following a long chain of loot because it will ultimately end up clashing with other players. So you can corner off any loot that you want, or even sideline any loot that you want so that another player doesn't get it, by using your body to get in the way. If you put your body in the way of any loot, you can effectively set it aside so that you can go and eat it later. Be careful in situations where there's more than about 3 or 4 snakes on the screen, because that's the time where people will rush you and they will take you, especially if you're big. Small players you should really watch out for around the 10,000 mark, because they will often just try and capture you really easily. Look here again, I go for another circle. Luckily that guy died because now I can entrap the red dude. One important mechanical feature of the game that will help with trapping players is that your body actually shifts when you move. It will tighten loops, and you will constrict a player even though you didn't go as close to him as you think. Your body will actually tighten in spaces. So, and that was a nice easy bit of mass to gain, and as you can see, I'm gone up from 10,000 all the way up to 16,000. So now I'm on the leaderboard. I'm at 6th, and it's quite a challenge to get up to 41,000. So we're gonna seek him out in the middle. Hopefully we can take him down, or we can take down one of the other players. Very quickly I've moved up to 3rd because that's the nature of the game. People at the top will ultimately end up dying, so you can have people at 50,000 and then all of a sudden number 1 can be at 16,000. Be careful of small players. As you saw just then, there was a lot of people harassing me, just trying to look for the easy loot, trying to take down a big guy cheaply. And small players will be very, very effective taking you down because they're a little more agile and they have better turning circles. I got very lucky there. I don't know how I survived that. And I did a bit of risky play, but it worked out for me nicely. Watch me try and corner off any loot that I can from that rainbow guy, but unfortunately purple player was in on it, so I'm going to try and corner off any more loot in the middle of my body. Don't be afraid to turn yourself into a knot when you're really big. Not only does this preserve loot that may be in the middle, but it also preserves space. It gives you somewhere to retreat to if players are harassing you, and it creates a bit of a safe haven. You can also walk along back over the top of your body, which is pretty handy in terms of getting away from aggressive players. There it is, guys. We're number 1 with 21,000, a decent score. I've seen better. And my run is all but over. I make a crucial error coming up. But those are my tips and tricks for showing you guys how to get on top of the leaderboard. It takes a bit of patience, a bit of skill, and a bit of experience to know what you can and can't go for. Here I'm following a chain and I got stuck. Thanks for watching the video, guys. This has been my first video ever. If you want to see more tips and tricks, be sure to smash the like button and hit subscribe, and I'll post more videos for you. This has been Sheriff Gaming.